Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and today we're going to be discussing my final wrap-up of the Interlacements subscription box. Before we get started in this, there's going to be some verbiage and discussion that makes it sound like I was not happy with this box. That is not at all the case. I know how it sounds, but that was not at all the case. I am, however, ready to move on to the next adventure, and I really wanted to get this subscription box closed out. This took me much longer to work on than expected. Various reasons, but part of it is everything I got is very delicate yarn, and that does take me a little bit longer to work with. We had some feline intervention that made this a little bit more difficult, but I don't want my personal end of it to affect how you think of this subscription box at all, because it is not a commentary. Me not finishing the last project is not a commentary on the quality of this box. I have loved everything I've touched. I've loved everything I've worked with, but I'm ready for something new. And I just kind of wanted to get that out now, because I know there have been a couple of people who have been waiting to hear what I thought about this, because Interlacements is known for a non-standard yarn. This is their zigzag yarn. This is the one I got in month 1. As you can tell, finishing my project, I used maybe half of it. This is the other yarn that came with month 1. I used a substantial amount of that. I think I've only got, that's like 10 grams left. See if I've got all my tags in here still. Things have gotten moved around as I've worked on this because the projects did take so long. Nope. I do not have my tags for month 1. So I can't tell you what the colorway is. If you look at the month 1 video, all of that information is in there. Let's go upstairs. But month 1, we received, oh, maybe I stuck them in here. That would be yay, that's where they are. All right. Maybe I should have set all this up before I clicked record. Maybe. Let's see. Flip my notes here over. Oh, goodness gracious, seriously? Oh, okay. I've got all sorts of, I threw everything into the bag just so I kept most of my stuff together. Sorry about that. So month 1, we received a Happy Easter bag, and I did spill coffee on it, unfortunately. So this is just like a very super simple drawstring bag. Because it is unlined, it is just like a super basic styling. I put the value of this at $5. The first ball of yarn was this one. It is 8 ounces. I estimated the price, that's tippy toes. I think I estimated the price at 22. Yes, $22. This is called Bailey's Harbor. It's baby rickrack rayon. Maybe that's why I keep getting confused. Some of them are marked rickrack and some are marked zigzag. I think. Am I losing my mind? I guess we'll figure it out as we go. Baby rickrack rayon, 8 ounces, approximately 1,000 yards, hand dyed by Tracy, hand washed, dry clean, store near you. That's what's on there. And this is just beautiful. As we get further along, I'll be discussing a poncho wrap thing. I think that's what I'm going to do with my month 3 yarn. And I think I have enough of this to do 1, 2. So there will be continued projects with this yarn because I did really like the yarn. So the finished project was this vest. And this vest is the project that came with the kit. It is just a smooch too small for me. I mean, not by much. It's like maybe 1.5 inches too short on the front panel. The back panel's fine. Armhole's fine. But I need a little too much here. If I'm wearing leggings and a very fitted like tank top or 3/4 length top, like this would be fine to wear over it. It's just not quite the right fit for what I'm going for normally. But it's beautiful. I love the way the fabric worked up. I love the way it kind of pleats and folds on itself, the way the construction is. It did take me a long time to finish. This is the project why I'm kind of tired of looking at it. It is a very basic pattern, and you do kind of get into it's day by day. It's one of those where you either are excited to watch TV while working on it, or you memorize it so fast and you're kind of bored. But I also had the problem of Curzon chewing on the yarn. He's not notorious for that. Normally he picks up a ball and will like unwind it. For some reason, this one and this project, he just chewed the yarn constantly. So I was getting kind of annoyed with like yarn breakage on that. Just saying. In all fairness, part of my fatigue had nothing to do with the pattern, had absolutely nothing to do with the yarn. Curzon was being a little bit of a putz. So not only did we get, oh, I forgot to talk about the tippy toe. So the other yarn we got, this is Sturgeon Bay. It's the tippy toe base, 400 yards, 100 grams. I love this. And if you remember when I opened box 1, I was like, oh, I kind of hate that like it's a coordinating set to do a big project, because that would have made an amazing hat for my husband. I mean, I really, really love this yarn. I will say the tippy toe base that she uses is fantastic. The trim on the vest is done in crochet. It crocheted beautifully, even with the larger hook that called for a G hook to do the trim. Even with the larger hook, I had zero issues with catching it or it getting kind of wonky, like tiny yarn tends to do on huge hook. It laid beautifully. The vest pattern was estimated at $6. We also got this bracelet kit, which I did not do. I believe I'm going to add that to my future giveaway bin. But it comes with everything you need. It is absolutely beautiful. And that's a lot of fun. It's something just a little bit different, which I appreciate. After doing as many subscription box unboxings and reviews now I've done, kind of like that. So I paid $24 a month. I paid upfront $72 for the 3 months. Everything, total value for month 1 was $61, which was a 61% savings. Really nice. Now, I suspected with month 1 that the bracelet, the double yarn, and the bag probably were part of this introduction, getting to know you thing. She did send me a letter, or well, a note in my first box telling me to let her know what colors I liked and stuff. I told her keep it as generic and diverse as possible because I'm doing this as part of a review. I don't want my personal preferences being what shows up. I want to see the range of her product. She never responded. So I'm hoping she took that for how I genuinely meant it. Month 2 was this yarn. Yes. So this is, this one says zigzag. See, this is why I'm like, I'm going crazy, right? The color of this is Fireplace Embers Pastel, 500 yards, 100% rayon, hand dyed, hand washed, dry clean. This is beautiful. I did cake it up because I think I know what I want to do with it, but I haven't made my final commitment to it. I did just find a beautiful pineapple wrap that only calls for 415 yards of a DK weight yarn. But yeah, I totally am in love with that color palette. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And then that's also the month that we got the reed diffuser with the lemon essential oil. It got knocked over twice in my kitchen through no fault of the product whatsoever. So it has now passed on to the next life. Yeah, that I had it on the counter. It was fine. I knocked it over. It wasn't the cat's. Then I put it on the windowsill because I still had about half of the essential oil left in it. And I was wiping that down and knocked it over again. So that's my fault. The yarn I have estimated at $22, infuser $15, total value $37, which is a savings of 35%. So we're still on target for that goal of 20 to 25% off, since I'm taking the risk buying the box. Our final month, and this may be my favorite so far. We got this beautiful yarn. It is the tippy toe base once again. This colorway is Ocean. And you can see that greeny blue, pale blue, and then you've got this beautiful washed out kind of cobalt color in there. I do have 2 balls because this was another one that Curzon loved chewing on. Something about this sock base he loved chewing on. But we got 2 patterns. We had 2 options. We got a lace cowl. And that's just kind of a basic horseshoe lace pattern. And then we also got the Summer Waves cowl, which is a crocheted pattern. So we had 2 beautiful options. Crochet and knit were options on this one. But I've said before, with very few exceptions, I don't wear a lot of cowls. They tend to choke up on me, or I don't have a particularly long neck, so they make me look shorter through the neck than I am. So I made a poncho wrap thing, or poncho. I shared this in my show and tell when I finished it, and I showed the different ways that the designer showed how you could wear this. So you can wear it as a cowl, you can wear it over your shoulders, you can wear it cocked to the side. But this is a super easy, basic knit lace pattern. I did add a whole bunch of extra increases to make sure that it was going to float away from my body while I wore it. How beautiful did that turn out? I mean, seriously, look at that yarn in there and how that deeper, like I said, almost watercolor, washed out cobalt just kind of pops throughout it. I really... Not only did I thoroughly enjoy the pattern I picked to work with this, I love the yarn. This flew off my needle. So we got the yarn, the 2 patterns, and a set of point protectors. The total value on this was $35.73 with a savings of 32%. Oh, I also forgot to mention month 1 we got a card. A color card that shows all of the colors in real life of what they look like dyed up. I love getting these, especially in something like this where it's not at a huge cost to the yarn dyer to share what else they make or share the color palette with you. You can more easily coordinate what you're going to if you need to order something, you can more easily coordinate what you're going to work with it. Like that vest, you need 2 colors for that and 2 different styles of yarn. So if you have a color card like that, you can see up close and personal what's going to coordinate best. So our total cost was $72. Like I said, for the 3 months. The value total was $133.73 with a total savings of 46.16%. I can't really complain with the savings on this. If you, as I've said before, with boxes that deal with non-typical yarns or novelty yarns, if you are not a fan of trying new things, if you're not a fan of novelty or textured yarns, this is probably not the subscription box for you. Right out of the gate, Interlacements is known for that rickrack zigzag yarn. Or at least that's how I've always known them. That's kind of their specialty. That's kind of their niche in the overall market. Sorry, my legs are falling asleep sitting here. This is the third video I've filmed today. I'm getting a little wiggly. I'm looking forward to doing another similar style poncho wrap as to what I did with month 3 with that Embers yarn, the Fireplace Embers pastel. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking the same thing for the leftovers of month 1. I had substantial leftovers from the month 1 project. Had I done the cowls, either one, I would have had a substantial amount of yarn left over from the final month, because neither one, I would have had probably 30 grams left over, which is a lot. I mean, that's 2 to 3 minis plus some scrap. So that is actually a lot of yarn to have left over at the end of a project like that. So you've got more than enough yardage to work with any one of these if you want to choose your own patterns. Month 2 did not come with a pattern, and I know some of you guys were a little annoyed that you don't know how to necessarily work with the novelty yarn on its own. Look at it as just added texture, like you would, if you take one of these big box, tweeted yarns, you wouldn't think of that as a different texture, but it does add visual texture to your stitches. Some projects it's great, other things it's not. So kind of just keep that in mind. Anything that has heavy texture or heavy color interest, I always say the more simple the pattern appears as far as the stitch work, the better it's going to show off the yarn. Let the yarn be what pops in that project, and let the pattern take second fiddle. There are times and places where the pattern should be front and center. That's not one of them. So yeah, if you're not into using novelty yarns, probably not the subscription box for you. Now, this is one of those cases where I'm going to say, read my comment box, because when you look back at the last 3 months, plus where I shared my finished objects or discussed these projects as I was going, there are so many comments talking about how much they love the rayon yarn. It's light, it's silky, satiny feeling. It gives you a beautiful texture in finished projects. It's nice to work with. There are crocheters and knitters who have commented on it. So you've got a nice, diverse palette of commentary to look at. So I wouldn't say this box is for everyone unless you can tell her you only really like the sock yarn. I did not try Toasty Toe, which is her other sock base. That was not part of what I got in my 3 months. But based on her, and this is a small company. This is a woman and her husband. I mean, this is a small company. A couple people said they actually met them at shows before. I had nothing but beautiful interactions with them. Like I said, I've seen their yarn before. I was familiar with the company coming in. The values there for the box, our 2 standard months, we were still in the 30% discount range, which I think is fantastic. I do like that my month 1, I had a bunch of extras, and that was a month where, she had no clue who I was. After that, she did have an inkling of who I was potentially. I don't know if she searched out my channel. I don't know if she's seen my unboxing videos. So now she might have an inkling of who I am or what I'm doing, potentially. But month one, having all the extras with it was kind of a nice, welcome to the club. I like the fact that the first pattern gave me an opportunity to use 2 different yarns. I liked that benefit, but you're not going to get a 60% savings every month. And I said in that unboxing, I don't think that's a sustainable thing. Like, this has to be just a starter, here's some free gifts with purchase kind of thing, which is exactly what it appears to have been. We had knitting related extras or crafting related extras. We had homeware related with the infuser. I gotta say, I enjoyed it. I wish I weren't fatigued on thinking about doing the review, and I wish that it hadn't taken me so long to finish the vest. I mean, that did take me substantially longer than I would have liked. I haven't marked it in my notebook as finished because I'm thinking about adding banded epaulettes on the shoulders in the Brick Rack mini yarn, just to add a denser gold. My box pleats on the front didn't turn out as dense looking after I sewed it together, so I am thinking about doing some bar epaulettes. So I haven't technically marked this as complete. I've just completed the pattern. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know I don't even know how to grade this for viewer benefit, general viewing benefit, because it's different. It was exciting. I really enjoy purchasing from independent dyers or small makers, so that kind of satisfied that itch. I really like the yarn. I like the way it feels. I live in the Southeast, so even when it's cold here, it's still muggy. I can't wear a whole lot of mohair and Angora down here because it's going to get matted. It's going to get gross. Even when it's cold, you still sweat a lot more than you would think you ought to. So having something like a rayon blend is really cool for somebody like me because it's something different that breathes. It gives you a different texture and a different feel to your projects. While I can't go furry necessarily, it was kind of nice to go satiny and feeling the difference in that. And I'm very much looking forward to making an eyelet poncho with that zigzag yarn because I think that's going to be very textural. The colors are going to be fantastic for springtime where you're transitioning from your jewel tones into your brighter shades. I don't generally care that much. So for me, it was great. It was a great experience. I really enjoyed everything. I love the range of her colors. So if you are very, very funky, she's got something for you. And if you're very, very classic, she has something for you. I mean, when you look down where you've got, so like one of the cats in here, you've got colorways like this one that's almost like a unicorn, bright green, bright yellow, bright pink. You have these beautiful rich oranges down here. But then you've also got, something that's a little bit more muted of a version of some of those bright, come on camera, bright colors with a little pop of the color. She's got some solids. She's got some semi-solids. Yeah, this was the one I think I said I really liked with the coral, the blue, and the yellow. I mean, there's just a lot that you can do with this. I really wish I was communicating in a much more cohesive manner today. Not doing a very good job at that. There you go. So you can kind of see the depth to bright, deep to bright, and then you've got interesting color mixes and then more traditional color blends. So I would have to say, give it a shot. If this is the kind of yarn you like to use. If this is not your style, don't do it. There is no problem with the product. This is one of those personal preference things. And I don't think it's fair to judge something like these kinds of subscription boxes without pointing out the quality is great. The dye job's beautiful. Both projects I blocked, I had 0 bleeding. So, you're getting a fantastic quality product. Just because that product isn't for you doesn't mean that there's a problem with the product. And I don't think it's very fair in reviews for that to be held against a product or a company. For me, I really enjoyed it. And I do try to be very fair in my assessment of these things. But I know that this is not for everyone. And that's fair. This is for the people it's for. It's just not for you. If this isn't your thing, it's not for you. I would say if you like working with itty bitty tiny sock yarns as a crocheter, that tippy toe really is nice to crochet with. The way it is spun, it's got a very satin finish to it. It's plied tightly without being rope-like. You don't lose any of the drape and bounce to the fiber. So if you are looking for sock yarn, I would consider, I don't know what her base is, so I can't tell you anything else about that, where she orders her yarn bases from, but that was pretty nice. I did not try toasty toes. I only tried tippy toes. So keep that in mind. But yeah, if I'm forgetting something, I've given you the price breakdown. I've reviewed everything that we got in the box. I've kind of rambled on here a little bit. I don't feel like I am doing justice to the subscription box at all in talking about it right now. Mostly because I'm just not at all prepared to really discuss this. But I hope that you guys, if this is your kind of yarn, if this is your style, you'll give this a shot. If you do, let me know. If you have questions that I didn't answer, please leave a comment down below, or in the description box, you'll see the rest of my contact information. I will have a link to the Interlacements website on here, or down there. So you can click that if you want to thumb through the rest of the colorways, do some research on the other bases that she dyes. Other than that, I can't think of anything else to say. I've already babbled on for about half an hour, which is, I hope you guys sped me up to listen to this. But I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm not sure if this is coming out over the weekend or at the beginning of the week. Either way, I hope you're having an amazing day. Take care. I love you guys, and I'll see you real soon.